What's happening, everybody? Welcome to TK and Drinks. I'm TK, and join me as we explore the world. Flavors are bold, and the buzz is fierce. So, hey, man, I'm TK. Thanks for joining me today. So today I kind of have a special reaction video I'm going to be doing. Um, so the cat's over at the Daily Meal, which is a food and blog website. They're known for doing food recipes. I guess they do food and beverage hack videos. They do top 10 lists and stuff like that. They've recently written an article called Top 12 US Meaderies to keep on your radar or to have on your radar, some shit like that. So when I saw this, I got super excited. I think they just released it earlier this week. I got super excited, and I'm thinking to myself, yes, some upcoming meaderies, some small meaderies I've never heard of, um, some places maybe that are going to be unique and bringing a whole new vibe to the world and everything like that. Um, because in my understanding of the word, like to keep on your radar, like the whole purpose of that, so you can focus on places that are like really doing sneak things, um, because all meaderies are worthy of everybody's attention. They're such a small, unique, niche craft industry that everybody's needs the attention to survive and everything like that. Everybody's worthy. We're all doing a big thing here. But like when somebody's like under the radar, like the whole terminology and everything usually means that they're like small, doing something like kind of out of the box, doing little things that are a little more innovative, things that deserve a little bit extra attention, that are typically only found in places that are small because they have the ability to do that. So, um, needless to say, I saw who was on the list. I got pretty disappointed. Not to say that I was surprised, because this is a food and beverage blog. They're not really seeped in the mead world. I did look at the author's name. She does have some credentials and background in the food and beverage industry, or writing journalism in the food and beverage. But they're not meat people. So today, I figured I would want to go over that list with you guys, give you a little bit of feedback of who's on that list, what's on that list, and you know, just basically break it down for y'all, and do a little recommendations afterwards. Put out who I say, not top 12. I keep getting caught up on this. It's not a top 12. It's just 12 US meaderies. So I'm gonna come at you with some meaderies that I think would be great meaderies to have on your radar. So let me do a little screen sharing here. And while I'm pulling that screen share up, remember, any likes, follows, notify bells, all that type of stuff is always greatly appreciated. So here we go. Share this. Now, what I'm seeing here is 12 meaderies you need to keep on your radar from the Daily Meal. Like I said, these guys are not now, sorry, I have to say, for those of you who are watching live on Instagram, I am recording this as well for release on YouTube and some other places. So unfortunately, you guys don't get to see what I'm, because I can't screen share to Instagram while I'm doing this. It's a whole thing through the streaming services. But at least you'll get to hear what I'm saying, thinking about like podcast style. So the first place that comes up on here, so 12 meaderies you need to keep on your radar. Says some states like Tennessee are known for whiskey, other states are known for craft beer, California known for its wine. They go on waxing on about mead, all the stuff we know about the history of mead. So first one that comes up, Honey Tree Meadery out of Nashville, Tennessee. Now I found this kind of be an odd pick. Not that anybody doesn't deserve to be on this. Everybody deserves accolades. Everybody's doing, but it just doesn't seem like, it just seems like an odd pick. Like, I understand this pick. Ross and Drew are some great guys over there. They're doing a big thing in Nashville. They're an urban beekeeping meadery, which is definitely different than most of the beekeeping meaderies that are beekeepers first and meaderies second, and certainly not in an urban setting most of the time, if at all. But so to see those guys doing that is definitely cool and unique, but not. I mean, I don't think it's worthy of keeping on, radar or something that you should just be focused on. Make sure I'm going to miss something. These guys are doing slushies. They're doing I mean, they just rebuilt, vamped their place, so they're doing big stuff over there. But I would just I wouldn't necessarily put them as the ones to be on my radar. Now, that being said, Drew over there, that dude has probably the nicest set of locks I've seen in the mead making world. If you don't know who this dude is, go look him up. Honey Tree Meadery. His name's Drew, DRU. This dude has these like luscious golden locks. I would do some seriously sketchy things for some hair like that dude's. Second up on the meadery chart, they had Hide Run Meadery. So Hide Run's been around since '95. We're looking at like 25 years in the game plus. I think it's closer to like 27 years. And they, in my opinion, are super boring. Not in the sense, again, that they make boring products, just really boring what they're doing as far as like, why would I keep them on my radar? They're not doing anything like new that they haven't been doing. They do one specific style, dry champagne yeast, and they've got that market cornered, and they do it really well. I mean, if you want a dry champagne style yeast, man, Hide Run's the spot to go. They got a variety of flavors. They've been doing it. They've got that shit nailed down. That's like their niche. But I don't see any reason to keep them on the radar. They keep bees. Yeah, they're eco-friendly like everybody else in the industry, which you should be. I mean, those are all standards, but it doesn't set you up and above anybody else. So I don't see it as a particular reason to keep them on your radar. Plus, being around for 25, 27 years, they're not going anywhere. They're well established. They're like a pillar in the background. You can see them off in the distance at all times, no matter where you're looking. They're always on the edge of the radar. You don't ever have to, maybe if they close down, something happens. But as far as like, they're always going to be there doing their thing. They're not straying too far from what they do. All right, third up, excuse me, Four Fires Meadery out of Maui, Ohio. This is one I actually do agree with. Christopher Clark is one of the original Four Fires. And when you're down to less than the original number, there's bound to be some drama as to why all the original members of the group aren't there. That being said, Christopher Clark is a madman, in my personal opinion, as far as like innovatively, creatively, uniqueness. He's done 1,000-hour bochet on some honey that he did, like meadow foam and raspberry blossom honey. Bochet it for 1,000 hours. He's got a Pop Tart inspired mead. He's got one called Splendor and Opulence that has saffron, like Spanish saffron, and was it French, like French black truffles or something like that. I'm pretty sure he said in there. And it's just the dude just does wild, crazy stuff that I don't see a lot of other cats doing. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't. Um, Nobody else can do that, and other people aren't also doing unique things like that. But like just the way I see it, and the passion that he has about it. If you follow him on social media, this dude is doing this. I mean, the dude oozes passion about his mead making, and it's pretty freaking unique. He makes ice meads, so definitely keep Four Fires on your radar. Now, my biggest thing with these guys, I'll give them definitely a caveat. They don't span the breadth, the full spectrum of mead. They're not doing dries. They're not doing um, everything they do is in the off sweet through the mega sweet category. And I mean, they do it well. I mean, you're always going to find flavors that don't, flavor profiles that don't work for you. But that being said, I'd like to see them expand their spectrum a little bit. But all in all, the stuff they're doing, I think, well, um, uh, negates the need to have a broader spectrum than what they do. And it's broad enough, and he's just some wild shit over there. So definitely keep Four Fires on your radar. Being Hive out of Austin, Texas. Now, this one is going to garner some drama, I'm sure, because they're another former giant in the industry. I say former because I think they've really grace as far as like they used to do still meads. Their stuff used to be pretty highly sought after. They do still have some stills available on their website, but they've pretty much switched to a co-op brewer who, as I understand right now, they're having some issues. They posted a thing on their website and on their social medias where they've got a bunch of product locked up with a brewer who's having a dispute. Their co-brewer is having a dispute with their landlord and some dramas going on. I don't know. I know I wouldn't want my product locked up. And they're saying all the right things, that things are gonna move forward. We're gonna make sure not to interrupt the distribution flow and all this stuff. But ultimately, we just don't know. So as to why they're one that we need to keep on the radar, I feel like they may have not done enough research into that. Now, granted, that did just come out relatively around the same time this article came out, so I can give her a pass on that. Um, but you know, they do. As far as why I don't think they should be on the radar, I'm not a fan. They have like 6 to 8 flavors. They're all super carbonated, super dry. They're like the white claws of the mead world, in my opinion. I just can't get behind them. They're just, I mean, they're entry level. They're massively wide distributed stuff. I just really don't see them being something you keep your eye on. Again, these are some people that we owe them a lot. Found put a solid foundation, especially for the Texas scene. Thank you so much. We need to keep them on our radar anymore, but they're there if you need them. Next up, again, another one that's probably going to be hard and heavy with some negative back talk here, superstition. And I'm just going to say what I think a lot of people are thinking is that superstition fell off. They used to be like some really hardcore sought after stuff in some of the hardcore mead circles. Their Barry White series was always something that everybody looked forward to. The past couple of seasons, the Barry Whites from club members that I know in different situations haven't been up to what everybody had been expecting previously. Their mead club has grown so big, and they've grown so big. And when you get to be the size they are, I mean, they're international now, and kind of hard to do things the craft way. So I would say that these guys have not they're not where they used to be. A wide variety. They do a full spectrum. They do sessions. They do sweets. They do all that type of stuff. They're just too big to still remain in that craft category. If you want to keep your eye on them, I guess go ahead. I wouldn't be bothering with keeping Superstition on there. Again, they're another one of those pillars in the industry. They've been around for a significant amount of time. They're always going to be off in the distance doing their thing. They're almost like one of them banks that back in 2008, they're too big to fail. They're about as big as it comes, and they're doing their thing. They found their lane. If that's your thing, cool. I don't think that y'all need anybody who's like looking to keep stuff on the radar. Superstition's not it anymore. Number 6, Schramm's mead. So Schramm's mead is definitely one that is obviously a pillar in the community. They've been around for a number of years, I want to say around almost 10 years, and significantly longer than that. I mean, Ken Schramm wrote the frickin' book, The Complete Mead Maker. He calls himself the Complete, because basically his name is synonymous with mead. And again, like I said, with Superstition, I have to say some unpopular opinion. I call them, and have on multiple occasions, the world's best one-trick pony. If you're like a really nice, full-bodied dessert, berry mel, or fruit and spice mead, these guys do it up big. But outside that breadth, handful of things they dabble in, but for the most part, that's what they do. They don't do big crazy stuff. You're not going to get a pina colada, pineapple, coconut, marshmallow, chocolate mead from these guys. You're not going to get some crazy anything outside the box. Now, what they do inside the box is really cool. I'm a huge fan of Ken's wanting to make a legacy out of this brand. He wants to develop a meadery. He's got an orchard there that supplies fruit. They do their own beekeeping that supplies honey for Schramm's. Not all of it, but the goal is to have that be an all in-house inclusive Schramm's legacy, orchard, meadery, everything. And he wants to be able to have that as something he can pass on to his family for generations to come. So I keep Schramm's on the list as somebody who's been in it, and he seems to be doing stuff that's innovative and is constantly pushing the boundaries of new and unique ways to put the mead world push the mead world forward. So big up to Ken Schramm on that. And Schramm's mead, like I said, I was on the fence back and forth about this one as far as whether they should stay or go, but I think there's enough. There's a few things left that they're still doing to keep those guys on your radar still, but I put them on the fence. They're on the edge. They're on there, but they're on the edge. Okay, next up, another one, more freaking drama. Pips Meadery. So these guys out of apparently now Gurnee, Illinois, have been doing the underground homebrew, not homebrew, but underground like trade circles. Their stuff's really popular. They only had a meadery that was open a handful of days. They didn't have a tasting room. They sold their bottles through a bottle shop, and their bottles, like 375 bottles, were going for like $90 for some of these things. Um, they're a good, heavy quality. I mean, if you're into that berry bomb, that sugar belt style, they're definitely not low quality meat. It's a quality product, but they're, in my opinion, way overpriced for what they are. They did just open a tasting room, which I think is a little bit too late. I mean, not too late to save them. I mean, I don't think they're going anywhere. They're going to be fine. I think it's a little too late to keep them relevant and like to keep me on my radar thing. They've got an established core base of people. I don't see lots of new people flocking to Pips like they were years ago. Um, Plus, I've heard some things in the industry that the guy who runs Pips, I'm not quite sure what his name is. I think it might be Matt, but I don't know. I've just heard that there was some legal things back and forth that there's been cease and desist with like naming situations with meads and stuff like that from other mead makers. And um, it's he has every right to do it if they have the trademarks in place and everything like that. It just to me seems like something that's kind of he's protecting his business. I just think it's more of a dick move on a I say a personal level, just like on a professional level. You do what you want to do, like business wise. I guess that's a professional business thing, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of a crummy thing, but it is what it is. And regardless of that, though, I'm kicking Pips off. Again, they've been around their things. I don't see a lot of new innovative stuff from. They do what they do. They have a lane. They stay in it, and that's what it is. So B Nectar, number 8 out of Ferndale. Brad, again, like Shrams and like what was the other one that we were talking about before? Maris to be pillars of the community. You have a lot to the meat community has a lot to pay forward to B Nectar for putting the Sugar Belt style on the map. Or helping put the Sugar Belt style on the map. Certainly didn't do it alone. Shrams was there, but they're in that Sugar Belt area, that Great Lakes region, so they definitely help contribute to that. You, I never hear anybody talk about how bad B Nectar stuff is. And for one of the wider distributed stuff, you can get their stuff in multiple states through whatever distributors they have. Um, it's a great one to introduce somebody to the mead world with. You can get a zombie killer or a necro mango con. They're good carbonated off dry meads to share with somebody that's is going to not have any flaws with it. Probably not going to win any awards. And maybe they have. I don't know. I haven't really followed them that much. But I mean, it's great entry level mead. But I haven't seen anything. Follow them on social medias and whatnot. I don't see them doing anything big and unique and crazy. Like I said, they've established themselves. They have a lane. They stick to it, and they're just thing. If you need a solid good mead, you can just go to B Nectar and just you know realize that you're going to get something that's legit. You don't have to worry about it sucking. All right. So now here was another one contentious amongst myself and me and I. Zen B Meadery. So these guys are out of Ohio. They do specifically carbonated. I want to say they're almost dry meads and ciders. I don't know if they're all dry, but they're all carbonated in sessions. But what I really do like about these guys and want to keep them on the list is that they've been on my radar for a while now. I don't have a good reason as to why I never bought anything from them. I love their artwork. I love their flavor profiles, especially for places that are in that dry category. Usually those places don't um, stray too far from the more traditional melomels, fruit and spice meads and stuff like that. These guys are one doing that, and they've got like a banana royale. It's kind of like a banana split. They've got like a plum cherry one. They've got a couple different ones. So I'm going to keep these guys on here. Zenby, they've been around for a while, but we're keeping them on there as the radar for the dry cats out there that like the carbonated and stuff like that. Keep those guys on your radar because they are doing big stuff, and they're still winning awards, winning medals. And I like to see that that's still doing competitions and stuff after that long cares about their stuff at least enough to get feedback to see if they want to change anything up. All right, number 10. Oof. Garrett G. Meadery out of Tampa, Florida. No, why? These guys are closing down. This is something I feel like was a real miss by the author of this article. These guys have had that announcement out for a number of weeks that they're going to be closing down at the end of a year from when the post was. So when their lease is up, these guys are done. So I don't really know what the point of keeping them on your radar when they're going to be closed. So you go pick a place up and you fall in love with their stuff, and now all of a sudden they're not in business anymore. I mean, I think that's kind of um, not really the best place to keep on your radar. Plus, Garage East or that Sugar Belt style, they don't not in the Sugar Belt area, but they do a lot of those heavy stuff. A few sessions here and there. Like I just don't see anything that really keeps them in the bubble of why I need to keep them on my radar. Plus, their prices are ridiculous. I think their Mega Flight, which is like all 13 of their still meads, is like $85, which at 13 meads comes out to like $6.50 a pour. And if those are like 2 or 3 ounce pours, I mean, I guess the math kind of works out. But man, your option for a flight is $85. Good lord, that is, I don't know, it's a bit brutal to me. But like I said, the bigger thing is they're not even going to be open in a year as it stands. Things may change. Nothing's set in stone until that key's done and he's out of the building. But more or less, I think that pretty much the fat lady on that one. All right, 11. We got Second City Meadery. Now, Second City, again, they're in the Sugar Belt. They're in Chicago, so they're in that Sugar Belt area. Big Sugar Belt style. They make great still meads. They do session meads. They don't sell those online, but they do have sessions. They do a full spectrum of dry, sweet, everything like that. Again, they were one I was on the fence about. Last year, they won, I believe it was Best of Show at Mazer Cup. So I mean, they definitely are doing a variety of things, and they're kicking, and hitting on all cylinders and everything. I just don't see a lot of like new and innovative things. Again, like last year, I would have said they were hitting, everything was happening for these guys. So I'm going to say on the fence with these guys even more than the other two on the fence is one. I'll come back to that when I fill in the rest of my roster here. And then, so last and certainly not least, again, none of these places I say put out bad meat, just my preferences of what I see them doing in the industry versus what other people are doing in the industry. This is by no means saying that anybody makes a bad product, saying the product I wouldn't drink or buy or anything like that. Brothers Drake Meadery out of Columbus, Ohio. Again, been in the game for coming up on almost over 15 years now. They've been doing the same thing. They've got not a lot of new things going on, but they do make great mead. This one right here, you can see anybody who's watching it, they got this thing, it's called the bourbon barrel aged battle axe. It's a cranberry juniper mead, probably one of my favorite 750 bottle meads I've ever had. That only comes in the 750, because if anybody watches me, they know I cringe at that because I'm fucking snobby as fuck. This one I love. I really dig it. I can't say enough good things about it. But that being said, as I'm looking through Brother Drake's history, they've got some nice longevity in the industry. I just don't see them being on the cutting edge. Again, maybe in the past they were. Maybe they were the ones who led the way through some times. Now they think, again, like the other guys that have been around for a while, they're kind of just comfortable sitting in their lane. They found their groove. If something's broke, why try to fix it? That's, you're fucking with your money, and fucking with your money is like fucking with your life. So these guys are going to stick in their lane and do what they do. I don't fault them for any of that. And let that be another thing to say. I don't, not against any of these places. I don't dislike any of these places. It's all spots that I'm happy for. I'm glad they're on the list. And more or less, it's just somebody's opinion. I'm just somebody. These people are just somebody as well. What I did want to get into, though, is the people that are on my list. So if I can screen share my other screen, let's see. Hopefully this comes up here and I can get it pulled in. So let's go. Here we go. And that screen. So, oops. So first on the screen, I'm up with, I would keep on my radar if I were you, is one cat that you might have seen. A lot of my videos, I wear a black hoodie. It's got a yellow hood. and big B on the front of it. It's for Hierophant Meadery. These guys are out of Washington State. Now, I like these guys because they're doing big, unique things that I don't see anybody else doing. I look pretty thoroughly, and these guys are doing a lot of botanical meads. And not only are they doing botanical meads, I'm talking like chamomile and lavender, and like so many things I can't even name. They got a whole wall, like an apothecary wall, in their meadery of all the different spices and herbs that they use, and you can buy them right out. You just go over there like you were at the farmer's market or something. You got a wall, you pull it out, you got the little bag, they have the scale, they weigh you out and everything like that. And it's the same exact same, excuse me, exact same ones that they're using on the wall are the ones that they're using in the meat, which I think is amazing. So you can literally try to recreate their meat using the same ingredients that they're doing. They're phenomenal people. They're pillars in their community. Great, great thing. Just like like all these other people, but man, like they got that unique niche of that botanicals meat. Plus, they got a couple different mushroom meat. So definitely keep these guys on your radar if you're looking to keep somebody on there who does wild, crazy, unique stuff that a lot of other cats don't do. You don't see anywhere else. That's one of the cool on my list. Whoops, wrong one. All right, Four Fires. We already talked at length about Chris and Four Fires. Stick up with those guys doing. Find some of their wacky, crazy shit and have with it. Funktastic Meads. Okay, so again, I've been with been at Funktastic Meadery, helped those guys out, a couple different things. Got to hang out with them at Sugar Belt. I'm not saying this because these guys are my friends. I'm saying it because Matt's background. He's got a chemical engineering. He's got a background knowledge in chemicals and how they work and everything. So the way he thinks about building his flavors and the things that he does to create the flavor profiles and designs of his mead are just, when I'm talking to him, it's on a different level than most other mead makers that I talk to, and it's very cool and unique. Plus, he does, again, full spectrum, dry. He does wines, he does meads, he does ciders, he does an NA mead, he does sessions, he does stills, and they're all phenomenally priced. None of his bottles are over $30. Flights are incredibly reasonably priced. He's changing it up all the time there at the meadery. It's crazy, wild stuff. Always unique things going on, always changing, trying to stay on that cutting edge, trying to keep the industry alive, try to keep bringing new people in through whatever means. Lots of advocacy there. Loving it. Fox's Den. Again, these are no particular order. It's just the order I wrote them down in. Fox's Den Meadery, I believe they're out of Illinois. He's probably the newest cat on this list. He's been open for, I want to say, less than a year. Or one of the newest cats, open for less than a year. And Rico is doing some big things over there. He's got giant collabs with a lot of the mead makers in that Sugar Belt area. He's got mead maker collabs with international mead makers. His stuff is basically, since he came on the scene, homebrew industry stuff's been pretty widely sought after as far as like the underground mead heads and mead junkies and the Sugar Belt fanatics and stuff like that. I'm gonna say keep him on your radar because I think, given the rest of the year and come year two, he's gonna start adding to their mead library, start expanding out their spectrum of stuff that they're doing. So this is one that I say is just up and coming. He's doing big things, making big flavors, barrel aging stuff already, big bodied meads, and traditionals, which I love. Whenever somebody doesn't do traditionals, at least one, I always get kind of sketchy. So he's doing the right thing there. It's huge, big stuff coming on from the Fox's Den. All right, Charm City, again, another place that's been around for a hot minute, and they have pretty wide distribution. I do like about Charm City, why I say keep them on your radar, is they're all cans, not all cans, mostly cans, lots of dry stuff. They have, again, wide distribution, so people who are looking for that wide distribution stuff then out of their area, they can get this stuff. You can get it at most regional liquor stores like Total Wine, Bevmos, Specs, whatever you have in your area. Not sure what all the different regional ones are, but it's a great dry go-to because not everybody they're into that super, all the big heavy Sugar Belt stuff. This stuff is phenomenal dry meads, has nice palatability to it. It's not something that is like that White Claw, that really effective taste to it. This stuff is really, really, really delicious, and I'm happy that they make it the way that they do. And it's just, I say keep them on your radar, not in the sense that anything necessarily new or innovative, but keep them on your radar in the sense that I'm always watching these guys to see if new innovative stuff does come. These guys are going to be some of the cats to do it. You know, I'm a fan of their stuff. Maybe it's just me, and it's my show, and I get to have my opinion. So there it is. Yes, I'm over 21. Next on the block, and probably if I was going to order them in any order, would be my number one, Manic Meadery. Tony and Keith over at Manic Meadery are doing such wonderful things for the mead community. They advocate on a daily basis. They started a mead-only festival, the Sugar Belt Mead Festival. Now, again, might not be your style. What they did is they started a festival that focuses solely on mead. They're not piggybacking on somebody's beer. They're not, piggybacking on a wine festival. It's not a, a food truck thing or some other. It's a mead exclusive festival. It's been successful for 3 years, and I think that deserves a lot of clout. They have no signs of stopping. In fact, they're adding to it. They added the second one that's going to be coming up here in October in Richmond. That's going to be a traveling one. So now you're going to have one every year in Indiana, and then you have a traveling one. If it's successful, imagine if it's not, you probably won't. But you're going to have a traveling. So, man, Tony and Keith up there at Manic are definitely, in my opinion, somebody you should keep on your radar. Full spectrum, dries, sweets, sessions, cans, bottles, the full Megillah. Trams, again, we already went over these guys, why I'm keeping them in there. I think that there's still life left in Trams mead. They're being innovative, still coming out with some things that are definitely on the cutting edge. Don't like their prices. Don't like paying $180+ for a bottle of Heart of Darkness. I do think that's a bit on the ridiculous side. I don't know how much goes into it. I can only imagine that that's somewhat added. $180. I mean, come on. Couldn't pull the trigger on it, and I really am hesitant to even try it because if I bought it, I would just, if I didn't like it, I would want my money back so bad, to the point of being frustrated to an unreasonable degree. Zenby, we talked about these guys, keeping them on board. Unique dry flavors, unique carbonated flavors. They've got a whole year list on their website here somewhere, that breaks down when their releases are, so you can plan out. If you see one that you're coming, you can save up for it that month. Not one of these ones where it's just, hey, by the way, today we're dropping 17 bottles, and if you didn't get paid today, or if you didn't plan out for all this stuff, and you're not one of those people that happens to be stacked and loaded, well, now you don't get any bottles from your favorite spot because they didn't let you know ahead of time. Hey, by the way, in 6 months we're going to be dropping this. So also just a heads up to the Instagram cats. I am not reading this text because of the odd position on my phone, and I cannot see the text, but I will be going back and reading all that jazz. Next up, High Road Meadery out of Tampa, Florida. So Pie Road, they've been open for, I would say, just about 2 years now. I think they just had their second anniversary. Again, carbonated meads, still meads, full spectrum of the product line. These guys are have a wonderful. Ooh, I got something in my eye. They got a wonderful mead club. They have filling that void that now Garagis is gonna leave, that they're opening up. They're going to fill the gap opening up now that Garagista is leaving down there in the Tampa area. They're just wonderful people, and some of their products are just amazing. I haven't had a whole bunch of their products. It's something I need to do, and I missed out on their stuff. But from what I have had of theirs, it's great stuff. And the reason I'm keeping them on here is because I see the potential on what they're doing. They're doing great things. They're growing already at a phenomenal rate. So they're definitely somebody you want to keep your eyes on and keep on your radar as well if you're into the new and upcoming things that are full spectrum. Not new and upcoming, and since they've been around for 2 years, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that whole heck of. All right, next up for TK and Drinks is going to be Honey Pot Meadery out of California. Again, I think we're going to see a theme here: full spectrum, full dessert sweet, down to bone dries, sessions, stills, wildly unique theme to their meadery. They're doing stuff all the time in the community. I don't think there's a day of the week when there's not some sort of event going on there. They have community events where they do donations. They have Magic the Gathering tournaments. They got video game tournaments. I mean, they're literally, Alex is probably, as far as that goes, one of the busiest people I see on social media. That dude is posting stuff all the time, always trying to stay one step ahead of the Mead Joneses and be on top of the Mead game. And like I said, when somebody's doing that and they're full spectrum, I'm on board for it. Plus, I'm a huge fan of all his stuff, and he's a person, really nice guy to talk to. If you ever get down to Anaheim, definitely stop in there. Next up, again, another one. Actually, probably this one, other than Fox's Den, is probably the newest one on the block. And they just opened up like a month ago, and I did do an interview with John. As you can see, another pattern forming. I've got these people, and that's because why I interview them, because I feel like they're unique and up and coming. I haven't only interviewed unique and up and coming people. I've interviewed lots of people, but I try to look out for people who I think other people are interested in talking to as well. John Brulahan, he's this guy. The reason I'm adding him on here is the guy who's taken the spot, in my opinion, of Pip's Meadery. This is the guy who, in my opinion, Pip should have modeled their business past off of what he's doing. He's coming out of the gate with the tap room. He's doing those incredibly heavy, sweet berry bombs. He's doing session stuff as well, which is one thing I don't think Pips does. And he's open for less than a year, and I want to say he's the second highest rated commercial meadery in the world, or at least in the country, maybe not in the world, but in the country he is for sure. And he, again, for 6 months, so the dude's got to be doing something right. I would like to see some full spectrum stuff from them. I haven't seen anything dry or in that sweet type of category, or off dry. Haven't looked a whole bunch because a lot of their stuff is, man, heavy berries. So maybe I missed it somewhere in there, I guess is what I'm saying. But that being said, check yourself out some Brulahan. It's hard to come across. He's only got a mead club and he's out there. But at least keep your eyes on it if it's something that you're, again, into that style. All right, closing up the last spot. I'm going to do a onesie, twosie, either orsy. Second City, like I was talking about earlier, win awards at Mazer Cups and other, uh, competitions, taking best of shows and whatnot for a lot of different things. I see online that they do a lot of the wider variety of stuff, the sessions, the stills, the everything. They call themselves full spectrum, I think, even on there. I don't see it out in the world. Like when I go to festival or like competitions that I've judged at, when I see their stuff, I haven't seen any those bottles. I would love to try some of their session stuff. I have a feeling it's pretty decent, but I'm not quite. I'm on the fence about them. The other cats I would put up against them would be the guys at Triaxial. And again, if you look across the board, I've talked to most of these guys, and that's because I talk to the guys that I really think that I want everybody else to know about. So it shouldn't really be any surprise of the people that are on my list. I just talked to the guys over at Triaxial. They're doing big trads. They're doing big berry bombs. They're co-brewing right now, but they're looking to get their own spot potentially in the future with a tap room, but you can get their bottles online. So, Triaxial, Brulahan, Fox's Den, these guys are, for lack of a better term, they're the shiny penny right now. They've all been open for less than a year. Are they going to be able to hold on to the staff to continue to be the ones that everybody's going to be clamoring over and trying to get their bottles? That's, obviously to be seen. Time will tell. All that being said, I think these are all great places, all meaderies out there. If you're east, southwest, northwest, southeast, go visit a local meadery, buy something from them, buy a bottle from them. Don't just sit there in the tap room and do a tasting real quick for $5 to $12, for a course. Buy some bottles. Buy a bottle to take home for your friend. Bottle sales are what keeps meaderies alive, not just tap room sales. So, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to keep this industry going, is us consumers going out and buying what we like. Like I said, I'm just some guy. This is just my list. Your list is going to look completely different than mine, and that's perfectly okay. I would expect it to. If it didn't, I'd think you were kind of spying on me. Well, but so I guess what I'm ultimately saying is, regardless of who's on your top board, go support somebody local. Go support, a meat maker. Start home brewing yourself. Homebrew communities are in decline right now. You You think I'm wrong? Put your money where you'll make a better mead. You send it over to me. I'll send you some of my bottles. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a better mead so I can be on par with some of these cats. So, um, yeah, man, it's like that.